So, the only thing I can see here is he may consider this insightful. Quote, so we're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue. I love Pennsylvania. No. I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. Quote, end quote. So is that inciting? I know, not even telling everybody. I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard, end quote. I do remember something to the point that Congressman Meijer didn't think that his comments shortly after it happened were strong enough in condemning what was going on. But we'll find out coming up after this next break. I only have one segment with them, guys. I attempted to get two. They gave me one. So I only have probably in the end 10 minutes. So I'm going to ask what I can ask, but I'm also going to allow him to speak as much as he can. So I know there'll be questions out there that you guys think I should have asked. I completely understand that. But I have just this 10 minutes, and I'll ask what I can ask, and then I want him to be able to speak to his decision as much as possible. Because, as he put it, and I agree with him, he may have just given up his seat. He may turn out to be a one-term congressman, because there's a lot of people that either didn't like what he did or were very concerned that he made such a rash decision on very little data at all. Yes, I'm sure it was frightening for him if he was in there. But, you are elected to be a leader, too. And we don't want leaders to make emotional decisions on any side. You're listening to the Live with Rank Show, and we'll be right back after this to talk to Congressman Peter Meijer here from the state of Michigan.
95.3 WBCK.
Let's take a time out with Tom Izzo, brought to you by Auto Owners Insurance, Simple Human Sense. I'm Will Tiemann, and today's topic of conversation, Tom's guys in the NBA. On this Friday, January 22nd, 2021.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense. Ask your independent agent if Auto Owners makes sense for you.
And welcome back, and as always, we're being joined by Michigan State's head basketball coach, Tom Izzo. With all the craziness that's going on, have you had any time at all to take a peek at a television and see how your guys are doing in the NBA?
I have. Miles Bridges had a couple of hellacious dunks. I saw Bryn Forbes one night, and I saw Xavier Tillman start his first game on Monday night. Day before, I think he had 15 and 6. So, been fun to watch. Jaren Jackson still not playing. I did see a Hara Cassius. He played a little bit in one game. Yeah, I've tried to keep an eye on all of them, and it's been fun, but it's really been fun. I talked to Xavier a couple times because what he's going through is exactly what I thought he'd go through, The longer he's around them, the more they like him, the more they appreciate him.
I'm not a GM of an NBA team, but I sure like Xavier Tillman, and there was a part of me that thought he might have been better served by coming back just for one more season. But he seems like he's doing okay.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean he wouldn't have been, Instead of being a 30-some pick, he might have been a top 15 pick. But in a way, he did what he thought was best. I loved the process he went through. I loved the fact that he kept me posted. His agent did. Everything worked out great. And I think Draymond Green deserves a little bit of credit behind the scenes, because what Draymond did here made it an easy sell for me on what I thought Xavier could do in the league. They're not identically alike, but they have a lot of similarities. And I thought Draymond paved the way and make it more sexy kind of to have a guy like Xavier, because, like I said, he grows on you, he does things, he makes it a little more exciting than maybe the normal situation.
Well, Tom, I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you Monday.
Sounds good, Will.
And as always, we've been brought to you by Auto Owners Insurance.
Cloudy skies for Battle Creek today. We have a chance of afternoon snow showers. Temperatures will be falling through the day to around 20. Tonight, cloudy, some light snow possible, 15 for the low. Tomorrow, partly sunny, the high at 25. Tomorrow evening, cloudy skies, a chance of light snow, the low at 21. Sunday, chance of morning snow showers, 30 for the high. Monday, chance of snow once again, the high at 31. Tuesday and Wednesday, partly sunny skies, highs both days at around 30. It's 23 degrees.
2020 was a challenging year, but things are looking up, including the stock market's performance. But will it last? Hi, I'm Ken Murray, Senior Advisor at Retirement Planners of America. If you are 50 or older, call us today to schedule a free consultation to learn more about our Invest and Protect strategy that is designed to help mitigate the risk of the stock market. Call us today at 800-375-1159 to schedule your free assessment. That's 800-375-1159.
It's been called shell shock, war neurosis, and battle fatigue. Today, we call it post-traumatic stress disorder, and it affects 1 out of every 5 warriors returning from battle in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Wounded Warrior Project offers comfort and support for warriors with PTSD and all other scars of war, whether those scars are visible or hidden. Find out how to help, because for warriors, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. Please visit woundedwarriorproject.org.
Listen to WBCK on your mobile device, anytime, anywhere. It's free. Brought to you by Airway Auto Parts and Recycling. Don't scrap your car. Get instant cash from Airway.
You listen to Live with Rank. Let's cut it short because I don't have a lot of time. I want to welcome back to the Live with Rank show Congressman Peter Meijer. Good morning, Congressman, and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Rank. Thank you for having me on.
Well, you had quite a first week there in office, and per your schedule, as we just talked about outbreak, we don't have much time, so let's get right into it. You stated in your Detroit News op piece that President Trump said in his speech that they, quote, before the assault, Trump had addressed the crowd and urged his loyalists to march on the Capitol to try and give our Republicans, the weak ones, give them the pride and boldness that they need to take back our country, end quote. Now, what Trump actually said was, quote, I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard, end quote. Then, at the end of his speech, he did say, so we're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue. I love Pennsylvania Avenue, and we're going to the Capitol, and we're going to try and give the Democrats are hopeless. They're never voting for anything, not even one vote, but we're going to try to give our Republicans, the weak ones, because the strong ones don't need any of our help. We're going to try to give them the kind of pride and boldness that they need to take back our country. So let's walk down Pennsylvania Avenue. I want to thank you all. And then I guess let's now, with that basis being put out there, and I believe you mentioned that the reason you voted for the impeachment of the president was due to the announcement, this whatever, however you want to call it. He came out a couple hours later, and he wasn't strong enough in condemning it. You know, why did you end up voting for the impeachment of the president? And this is what I get the most from many people, with no data, no investigation, nothing.
So first on the point, and I appreciate you having me on. I think the last time we talked was the day before the Electoral College certification, where I actually expressed my concern that what was going to happen could turn violent. And I talked to people who were coming out and said, you have every right to march peacefully. You have every right to come out and exercise your First Amendment rights. But please, for the love of God, be careful, because I was concerned about two things. The two lies that were told, that without which we wouldn't have had, the insurrection at the Capitol. We wouldn't have had the Capitol be overrun. There'd be 5 people who are dead right now who would still be alive if two things hadn't happened. One was the president saying that the election on November 3rd had been a landslide victory for him that was stolen. Not that there were concerns about the electoral process, which I share, not that the expansion of absentee ballots created room for fraud, not that there are elements of our system that we need to tighten up, and we need to make sure that what we saw at the TCF Center and that chaos, that doesn't happen again, but that it was a landslide victory that was stolen. That's one. And number two, that January 6th was the day that the steal could be stopped, right? That was hashtag Stop the Steal. There was a stolen election on November 3rd, and January 6th is the day that we can change it and the day that we can reverse it, right? January 6th was the day that Congress gathers to certify the Electoral College votes, and we can hear objections. And I have folks who are raising objections. I think we're doing it out of sincerity because they were concerned about electoral process modifications at the state level and the constitutionality of that. But that wasn't the message that was going out. That wasn't the message that the president was amplifying. It was that this is the day that we can stop the steal. That is why they ransacked the Capitol. That is why they sought to disrupt the constitutional process, because there was a day that they believed could change everything, despite there being no statutory or constitutional basis for that, despite, the courts ruling overwhelmingly against, no investigative body with any credibility finding widespread evidence. Like, I'm not arguing on those points around election integrity. I'm arguing that those two elements that the president repeated were why people ransacked the Capitol at the end of the day.
Well,
and people if we're going to be a party of law and order, if we're going to be a party of responsibility, we can't look the other way on that.
No, and I don't. Hold on. I don't think we should look the other way. But it's your opinion that those two statements are what incited this riot. And now we find out, no, it was actually being planned prior. The FBI came out and charged a person for planning it going back to January 1st. So certainly some elements of it were planned prior. So that wouldn't have incited them if it did. Here's my concern, and I would love for you to address it. You and other representatives have now set the bar very low for impeachment and elected congressmen and women to be removed from office. So now the bar is if any politician gives a speech or an appearance and someone leaves that event and causes damage at a government building or harms anyone from the opposing view or in that government building, the president must be impeached if it's them, and any of you who are elected must be removed from office if it's you guys, because there's no direct connection. The direct connection would have been Trump saying, go to the White House, and he didn't say Capitol, and he wouldn't have said peacefully, and take back our vote. I'd be there with you, Congressman Meijer. I really would.
Right. I mean, how do you explain, and this is the other thing that I've seen folks trying to backpedal on, is say that this was all BLM and Antifa, and this wasn't Trump supporters, right? And let me preface it by saying, I hate it when these people are just called Trump supporters, because they do not represent, the people who ransacked the Capitol do not represent the vast majority of supporters of the president. But the people who are arrested, the people who are being charged with assaulting law enforcement, who are being charged with vandalizing a federal building, who are being charged with conspiracy, right? There were people who were in there looking to hunt down members of Congress.
How do you know that? Well, that's new. That's new news, breaking news, because
Facebook messages. No, Facebook messages between two of the Oath Keepers who were recently arrested from Ohio. They were, the members of Congress are in the tunnels. Let's turn on the gas. We have to, block them off at the exit. Okay. That was in a affidavit that the FBI submitted based on Facebook messages they were exchanging while they were in the Capitol. Right. So, to your point, were there people planning this beforehand? Absolutely. Would they have been planning it were it not for the president saying that January 6th was the day that we can stop this steal, and November 3rd was a landslide victory for the president that was stolen? That would not have happened. Right?
Well, maybe that's your opinion, maybe, and maybe it wouldn't have. And when's the last time you've ever heard a politician use hyperbole? You guys use it all the time.
Last time the Capitol was ransacked, right? I mean,
when's the last? Let me ask you this, Congressman Meijer. When's the last time a federal courthouse was under siege for 100 days and was firebombed?
Portland.
Right.
Portland.
When's the last time a police officer's barracks precinct was overtaken and burned down? Those were and those were insurrections.
Yeah. Does this? So we have no responsibility on our side because the left are a bunch of
no.
We engage in political violence.
No, we do have responsibility, and anybody who does these things should be called out. That's why I don't listen to one thing a liberal, someone on the left says, because they never condemned what happened before. I don't care what they have to say.
And they lost at the ballot box in overwhelming numbers at the congressional level in November because of that. Right? They were punished for their acceptance of political violence by the voters. I mean, Nancy Pelosi had to be dragged kicking and screaming to condemn the BLM and Antifa riots that led to billions of dollars of property damage, small businesses destroyed, all that. I completely agree.
All right,
but
so what
you had but you earlier said that there was no evidence, there was nothing. Every single member of Congress, like myself, who was in that chamber, stood witness to that.
No. What I meant by that, Congressman Meijer, is there was no evidence yet of who did it. I came out that day and said, I am sure it's all of the above. And it's coming out as all of the above. Now, percentage-wise, who's all of the above, who's more important, I don't even care.
Upwards of 95% of those arrested, were supporters of the president on their social media profiles. Many of them arrested. I thought this is what the president wanted me to do. This is what we felt.
Okay.
Being called.
All right. So let's use this last 2 minutes, Congressman Meijer, because I know you got to get going to address this. That is what's coming out now. That is not what was known at the time of the impeachment vote. A 3-hour, the last one was 10 days. This one now, you guys trumped that one, no pun intended. 3 hours for an impeachment vote. And that's what a lot of people are concerned about, the speed of which it went down. And with no investigation, no knowledge, no data, almost or very little data at all, other than the experience you guys went through. And I'm sure it was very scary. And I'm sure it was there was a lot of fear that was going on. But we don't want leaders, and this is another thing I hear, making this rash, quick, huge decisions based on emotion. So how would you respond to those people who've emailed me about that?
Oh, I would say that I share the concerns about the speed of the process. But ultimately, if an insurrection at the Capitol, if the intentional violation of the constitutional process, if the president, right, because let's also not forget what he did to Vice President Pence. While the vice president and his family were fleeing from people who were chanting, "Hang Mike Pence," while there had been a gallows erected outside because this whole fiction of a Pence card that the vice president could magically just change the outcome of the election. While that was being propagated, the president was on Twitter attacking him and calling him a coward, right? I mean, while the vice president never left the Capitol that day because he didn't want to give the people who were rioting and who were attacking the Capitol, he didn't want to give them the moral victory of seeing him flee. He demonstrated courage. And yet the first thing that the president does is he tweets out a video saying, "We love you, what a great day, but please go home right now." After, dozens of police officers in the hospital, several people have been killed, and the constitutional process had been disrupted.
So you feel at peace with your vote, and we got 1 minute left. You feel at peace with your vote, and you're okay?
We had to get to this point. I hate the fact that I know that I've disappointed people, that individuals feel betrayed. I hate that. This was a vote. When I say it was the worst week of my life, it wasn't because of the attack on the Capitol. It wasn't that I was really afraid. I spent 3 years in Iraq and Afghanistan, right? Worse things could have happened. But it was the fact that we had to get to this point, and we have to send the message that political violence cannot be tolerated. And if we're the party that looks the other way, if we're the party that doesn't stand up for the rule of law and the necessary responsibility taking, then we're done. Right?
All right.
All of the things the president accomplished in the past 4 years, all of that out the window. Middle East peace deals, revitalized economy, criminal justice reform, right? I mean, highest percentage minority turnout for a Republican in 60 years. This could have been a fantastic legacy, and it was destroyed in 2 hours on January 6th.
All right. Thanks a lot for calling in, Congressman Meijer. Maybe we can get together and talk some more about this or the next steps, okay?
Hey, I'm always here for it.
All right. Have a great day. You listen to Live with Rank. We'll be right back after this.
95.3 WBCK.
1045.
If you own a small business, you know how hard it can be to find new customers. But maybe you're unaware of new tools that can help your business stand out. Go to GetLocalCustomersNow.com for a free market competitive analysis that will show you what other businesses are doing to find new customers.